Hey guys, Josh here. Gonna take a second to show you how to fix your Whirlpool Cabrio washer. This will save you anywhere from $250 to $500 or going out and getting a brand new washer. So issue with this one is essentially your board here stops working. And if you've already had somebody come out and look at it, they've likely told you you need a whole new control board, and the prices vary depending on which option you have, if you have the steam one or not, but anywhere from, the board runs from $250 to $400, just kind of depends on where you buy it and which model you have. And of course you got to pay labor and all that stuff. I'm going to show you how to fix this, hopefully without any of those things, and how you can get your machine up and running again. A lot of times the codes you'll see is like a F2 E1 or an F6 E3 or some combination of F something with an E3 or E2 code. It's a little different depending on whether you've got the Whirlpool Cabrio or maybe you've got a Maytag Bravos. They're pretty much all the same though. So you see I've already got this one released. Honestly, the hardest part for people of this whole repair situation is getting this released here. But the easiest way to do it, and a couple older videos I showed how to take like a butter knife or anything flat and shove it under here and release. That's actually the hard way to do it, and the easiest way to do it is if you come around to the back here, you're gonna take out a screw here and this plate comes off. Then there's a screw right there and a screw right there. Okay, so 3 screws. Once those 3 screws come off, you can go ahead and take this plate off if you want to. It's a couple more screws and this panel comes off. So just a few screws along the back. Now, once those screws are out, then what you do is you take both hands here on either side and you're gonna pull this forward, okay? So it pulls forward like that. You see here, we've got a nice little lip there because I pulled it forward and lift up and push back. Out, up, and back, and it lifts off, okay? So again, out, up, and back. And that is how you release it from these little tabs right here, okay? That's the hardest part. Then what you do, just grab a pair of pliers, and where you see this hole right there, see the clip right above it? That clip will be pressed through. You take your pliers and squeeze that clip, and it pops up like that. There's one right there, and there's one right there. See those clips? I've already released mine. Once you do that though, you can just kind of set this back down. We can still lift this right back up if I can get a good grip on it. So instead of going down, if you pulled it forward, down, and then back, it would be locked back in place. But for now, we're just gonna set it down. But now we can access our plate here. And then, so this same thing, we're gonna lift it up and it kind of pulls forward. I've released it from its cords here. So I unplugged this one from right there. You just unplug that and then you can kind of get to this. So what happens with these, especially if you have that steam option, is the moisture will come up through these holes here and it hits your board. And most of them, this is not exposed. We'll clean that as well, but you see here, take a good look. Let's use that new zoom setting here. See all that? That is keeping your board from effectively communicating across the rest of the board. So what happens is with that issue right there, put this back to normal, is some of your buttons stop working. You get that error code. Maybe for you, it won't even turn on. You hit your power key and nothing happens. Or it seems to work sort of, but it won't start. These are all issues that can be associated with this right here. Now, does this work every time? No, it doesn't. If I've done maybe 40 of these, probably 5 of them didn't work. 5 of them ended up in my junk pile where I just pulled some additional parts off of them and there was nothing that could be done. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that seems about right. Over the years, I've probably done close to 40 of these, and over the last probably 5-6 years, I probably have 4 or 5 that I couldn't fix, and I don't buy new boards for them. I'll just save the transmissions and all that stuff, and I use those parts. But you know, if you're just trying to fix this so you can keep doing your laundry, you probably don't care about all that. So hopefully this works for you. So how do you fix this here? Well, if you'd seen my other video, it's actually pretty easy, but it depends on how bad this is. That's really not that bad. I'll probably be able to fix that up with just some rubbing alcohol and Q-tips. However, I did one the other week that you see those 4 on top there where the main corrosion is. It was so bad that you couldn't even make out those 4 individual slots. It was green and it was just absolutely terrible. Okay, just rubbing it with rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna cut it. So, you know, let's come over here. You see some of my tools, but I got these. Let me show you what these are. You can buy these any hardware store. I think I got these at Harbor Freight. You probably find these at Walmart, but they're files. Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, they'll sell a little kit similar to this. But these are little files, and you can use these to get in there. You just want to be real careful, but you can use these. Let's see if I can zoom back in and show you. To get in here and clean these up really good. You just want to be super careful. It doesn't take much. Okay, just to give you an example, to where I would go over it and clean it up to where I could kind of see it shine again. Scrape all the junk off of it, and then I'll go over it with some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, and then it cleans up really nice. Okay, so let me grab a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol and we'll rub that down. Okay, now I did have to scrape these a little bit more. Then I just went over them with my Q-tip. Now you can see how much cleaner they look. They're nice and shiny. Okay, over here, I've never seen this part exposed before. So I just took my Q-tip and went over and kind of scrubbed those down. But I wouldn't go scraping anything you're not comfortable scraping. Like I've never done that before on this side, so I left those alone. And they actually look pretty clean, especially after kind of buffing them down with that rubbing alcohol and Q-tip. Over here, you can see a night and day difference. And this spot was obviously affected. And this is the affected spot that causes these problems. And I know that from, like I said, doing it on several other machines. So now that this is all polished and clean, what's gonna happen is if from here you leave it like that and put it all back together, in a few months or maybe even a few weeks, just depends, it's going to re-corrode and you'll be back in this exact same position. So what I used to recommend people to do is get this stuff on Amazon that's silicone based, and you could slap over that to keep it protected. However, through reading the comments on those last videos and then doing a little research on it, I come to find that clear nail polish works just as good. And I like the gel stuff, doesn't run quite as bad, but I picked this up for $1 at the dollar store and it works great. I've been using it for a little while now and I have no issues with it whatsoever. It dries clear and hard and protects that from getting corroded again in the future. So literally all we're gonna do here is take this out and just kind of swab this whole area and let it dry and put it back together. Okay, so got that cleaned up, put that protector on there, plugged the 2 plugs back in and slapped it back on here. So real quick, I'll show you how to put this back in place. So it's up now. So we're gonna reverse the order that we did it in. So we're gonna pull out, you see it drops down and then you push it back. Now it's locked in place. And one more time to show you how to release it, you pull forward, up and back. And that's how it releases. I can't tell you how much trouble I had trying to figure that out the first time I took one of these apart, and most of them now are that way. So now that's back in place. So on this particular machine, the issue I had was you turn it on, you could hit the power button and it would come up. I think it said 58 on it for the normal cycle, but you couldn't change, none of the other buttons worked. It wouldn't start, it wouldn't do anything. It was just kind of dead in the water and eventually it would turn off. So we've repaired it now. We've cleaned those connections, turn our power on, and let's see what happens here. Okay, and right away, that's different. And look at that. Perfect. It is now recognizing everything we're pushing. Let's make sure we just go through here. Cool. Not sure how long that's gonna go. Cool, okay. Once again, everything on it is now working perfect. Awesome. Yeah, when it wouldn't register anything before I push, and it just wouldn't do anything at all. So now it can communicate again. Everything seems to be working perfect. I'm gonna go through and deep clean this machine. I'll run 4 loads through it. So if you're a rebuilder watching this, I always recommend you run at least 4 loads through it. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. You wanna be able to test everything out. And 4 loads, typically you can kind of get through most of it. Be sure that it's working perfect. I'll take the drum out and clean it and all that good stuff before I turn around and resell it. But if you're just trying to save yourself some money, trying to not have to order that board, maybe your repairman told you had to, is the only way to fix it, well, now you know better. You know, hopefully the only thing you're out here is a little bit of time, some Q-tips and rubbing alcohol, and a little bit of clear nail polish, which, you know, most people might have that laying around. So guys, I really hope that this video has saved you some time, saved you some money. That's the purpose of these videos that I do. I'm all about trying to keep these machines out of the landfill, because worst case scenario, people will just throw these out, and I know they do because I get them. And if I don't pick them up and try to bring them back to life and give them a second life, they end up in the landfills, and that's terrible. And I do everything I can to keep that from happening. I can obviously make a living on the side doing it as well, which is great for my huge family. So, but there again, for your family or for you personally, I hope this helped you out. If it did, please give a like, subscribe, and share. Let's try to make these videos a little easier for other people to find and save some money. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Thanks. You guys have a great day.